This is Backstage Bay Area. Now, here's your host, Steve Roby.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Backstage Bay Area. I'm your host, Steve Roby. Clarinetist, saxophonist, and composer Anat Cohen is one of the most expressive voices in modern jazz. Her work spans everything from intimate duos and swinging post-bop to the rich textures of her Tentet and deep explorations of Brazilian music. She's bringing her massive celebration to San Francisco's Minor Auditorium this December, and she's here to talk about it today. Anat Cohen, welcome to Backstage Bay Area.
Thank you very much, Steve. It's great to be here.
For listeners just getting to know your story, you grew up in Tel Aviv in a house that was obviously overflowing with talent. Your brothers are incredible musicians in their own right. What was the atmosphere like in that house? Was there a specific mentor or a record that you all agreed on, or did each of you have to fight over control of the stereo?
Wow, there's a lot to unpack in just one question. First of all, yes, I grew up in Tel Aviv, Israel. My older brother, Yuval Cohen, early on started to play saxophone, and my little brother, Avishai Cohen, picked up the trumpet about the same time that I picked up the clarinet. And of course, little did I know that we will all become jazz musicians and touring and, around the world and playing, and that will be our profession. Back then, we were just trying to learn an instrument. So here we are in a house, and luckily each one of us managed to at some point have their own bedroom. So we would be practicing simultaneously in a house that, with two parents that loved music, appreciated music, loved seeing their kids fulfilling a dream that they had of studying music and playing music, because, they're from a generation that it was not so accepted. And I think, I don't even know if they spoke about it, but they just let us do that. And they supported us, and
Nice.
They paid for our lessons and drove us around. And so here we are starting 3 children to play music, and getting slowly better at our instrumental studies and slowly getting into jazz.
All right.
And starting to, you play something in your room, and you hear your brother play something in another room, and that's cool. And you kind of pick up the phrase and you try to imitate it. There was a lot of back and forth between us because our social life and our musical life became one. We went to the same schools, we went to the same after schools, conservatories. And so the friends that we had were, almost like, we shared friends. I mean, of course, when we're younger, if someone was 3 years older than me or 2 years older than me, it's a lot. But, as you become a teenager, Yuval's friends became my friends, and we would hang out in the same circles. And Avishai was always an advanced trumpet player ever since he was young. He was always playing in the big band, and the same big bands I would watch Yuval and Avishai getting into jazz. They got into jazz before me, and I would watch them. As you have the saxophone section sitting in a big band, and the trumpet sections, sitting in the back. And Avishai is so young that he's standing, and he's the same height of the rest of the trumpet players that are sitting. So that's how young he was when he got into jazz. And I was still playing clarinet, and then I wanted to play jazz, and it was hard for me to find space for it playing the clarinet. So I was advised to pick up the saxophone, and I focused on the tenor saxophone for many years. And eventually I did like a little detour and a little, U-turn, and I came back to the clarinet, and the clarinet has been taking me for the past, 20 years around the world, and has given me an opportunity to touring musician.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, you've been incredibly busy lately. Your latest release, Bloom, is the second album from your group. What is it about this specific combination of instruments and personalities that lets you cover so much ground from folk to samba to jazz?
Well, the Quartetinho means little quartet. And this is a band that is actually all coming out of the 10-piece band, the Tentet, which we're going to be playing at SFJAZZ with both bands. In the Tentet, every one of these musicians, we have Vitor Gonçalves playing piano and accordion, and James Shipp playing vibraphone and percussion, and Tal Mashiach, the bass player, he's playing only bass in this band, in Quartetinho. I convinced him to also play guitar, which is his original instrument, and I played clarinet and bass clarinet. Everybody has at least 2 instruments that they can play, which really expands the possibilities of sound within the band. Now, beside the sonority of like different combination, you can have one song with vibraphone, accordion, and guitar and clarinet, or another song with percussion, bass, clarinet, bass, and keyboard, some electronics. And beside that, these guys are very flexible when it comes to different genres. They're very open-minded musicians. They can go from the most pretty melodies and pristine sound to the most wacko, wild sounds, that just to explode the sound of where, whatever the stick can hit, or getting sound of the piano that are unconventional. So they're unapologetic, and I love that about it.
That's nice.
About this band.
Wow, that was quite an experience for you.
It is, and I come originally from classical music, and I got into jazz, and I played different popular music, and I got into world music, and I love a lot of different kind of music, from melodic to very rhythmic to dance music. It's great to be playing with musicians. What I look for in musicians that I play with are musicians that have all these elements, that they can play a classical piece, and be authentic, but then find our own way of playing it. Like we recorded on Quartetinho Bloom on the album, we're recording one classical piece it's a piece for clarinet written by Paraguayan composer Agustin Barrios. So this is a piece for the guitar. It's called La Catedral, and we just found a way to play it. And then we go into world music at the end, and we go into some kind of a 6/8. We can go from those different sounds and travel.
Nice.
It's great.
I want to play the opening track from Bloom, the album Bloom. The song is called The Night Owl. I understand this piece actually started at one of your practice sessions. Can you tell us the story of how this turned into a playful track for the band?
Yes, I was supposed to be done already, but I'm still finalizing an etude book for clarinet. Etude is a little different genre and different style, and it's a correspondence with emphasizing different genres, styles, and time and approach to time. So the Night Owl started as just me and a metronome playing. And when we were getting ready to record for this album, I just brought the music to the band, and I said, "Hey, I have this piece." And everybody got their clarinet melody. I said, "Here's a few ideas I have. The band can respond here and there, and let's play it and see what can come out of it." The beautiful thing is that when I play by myself, I have to imagine everywhere. I imagine the band, because it started just as a solo piece for clarinet.
Right.
So I'm imagining the different styles, genres, and accompaniment that the band can play with me while you do not hear them. Everything is happening. The band is in my head. So in that case, I have a band that represents some of the ideas that are in my head. So they almost like describe the etude. They help the song become what I was hearing in my head.
This is The Night Owl from the album Bloom. Let's listen to it and talk more with Anat Cohen on the other side. You're listening to Backstage Bay Area. This is Backstage Bay Area, and I'm Steve Roby. My guest today is clarinetist Anat Cohen. We just heard The Night Owl from her album Bloom. Before we get back into the music, I was fascinated to read that while you were touring the world, you were also in the middle of completing a master's degree at the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro. After such a successful career performing, what drew you back to the student mindset? What are you discovering now that maybe you didn't see 10 years ago?
First of all, I love being a student, and that's something that never ended. Even though I did my undergraduate almost 30 years ago at Berklee College of Music. It's, we musicians are students for life. And so this is something that's staying. But the appreciation of the academic life and the understanding of the importance of music education, the power of music, the value in personal encounters, the value in making music together, and routine, something that I definitely lack of just because of a hectic touring schedule.
Mm-hmm.
This is all something that I relearned to appreciate during the quarantine time.
Yeah.
As suddenly all the travel stopped, and I wasn't sure anymore. Actually, for a minute there, I could not even imagine I will ever be on stage again. And how will I ever play with other musicians and meet the audience and shake people's hands? It seemed like it will never happen again. So I was like, well, what do I want to do? And I went back to school to be a student. Now, at the same time I was a student online, I was also a teacher online. So I got to see both aspects. And I can tell you one thing for sure. It's much more fun to be a student online than to be a teacher online.
Why is that?
Because you don't really feel the reaction. First of all, the students cannot play together if each one is sitting in a different place. Mm-hmm. So you have to find creative other ways to reach them. And you don't feel them. And some people just turn off. If you are more in university, people turn off their cameras and you're like, you don't even know. You're talking into the void sometimes.
Yeah.
So when you're a teacher and you do that, you learn it helps you better to become a student online. I also love the opportunity that education, and a lot of people got to take courses again and to study online it's something that really grew immensely during the quarantine time and stayed. And so people accessibility to courses and to the top musicians, you can just go and see Christian McBride talking about how to walk a bass and you get to see Fred Hirsch talking about, the art of duo and, it's really an incredible thing to have those courses online. So I just decided that it's not far from what I want to do. And I want to figure out how to contribute to the clarinet world with what I do.
Yeah, it was a different and difficult time, but a lot of good things came out of that isolation period.
Yeah, a lot of misery and a lot of positivity. And, there's some good things, but definitely very stressful times for a lot of people.
Yeah, well, let's shift gears here to another project you have titled The Interaction. It's a live album featuring you and your brothers, the three Cohens, performing with the WDR Big Band. We're going to play a track from that recording called Footsteps and Smiles. This tune originally appeared on your Triple Helix album, but now it's getting the complete big band treatment. What changes for you emotionally when you play a song like this, the massive power of a big band behind you versus a small combo?
Well, the more the merrier, first of all. But of course, it depends also on the arranger. And in both cases, I'm partnering with my childhood high school buddy, Oded Lev-Ari. Oded is an incredible musician and incredible person. And he also is going to be at SFJAZZ, and he is the musical director of the Tentet. And he's also the arranger, the initiator and the arranger and the producer of the album Interaction. So all the music on Interaction on the album, The Speakers and the WDR, was arranged and conducted by Oded Lev-Ari. He showed up even before us to work with the WDR Big Band. We showed up, everything was ready. Just let's get used to have, instead of one soloist, having three soloists, because that's what big band is used to have people. The WDR have many projects when they have guest artists, but it's very rare that they have three horn players standing in the front and they act as one unit. It's like a little monster with the three arms. So I think for this, the difference in this version is that I have my two brothers that are soloing with me and having their energy and their musicianship. with the big band. Of course, the sound of the amazing WDR big band. But I like to play it, it's a song that is fun to play with the big band and fun to play with the Tentet. And it's a good, now that you say that, I think we should play it at SFJAZZ.
Right. Well, let's give it a listen. This is Footsteps and Smiles from the album Interaction Live. We'll be back in a moment to ask Anat about her upcoming 50th birthday celebration at SFJAZZ. That was Footsteps and Smiles, and you're tuned to Backstage Bay Area. I'm talking with Anat Cohen today. You're coming to SFJAZZ on December 11th and 12th for a very special occasion, your 50th birthday celebration. The program leads like a journey through your entire musical life. How do you prepare mentally for a night where you have to shift gears so many times from the intimacy of a duo to the roar of a 10-piece band?
It's easy because that's my life. That's what I do. I live in New York City, and for many years I would play go play with the band playing the music of Louis Armstrong in the afternoon, and then go play with the Jason Linder's big band at night, and then go play in an Afro-Cuban band, and then play some Brazilian show. So my life is always shifting gears. And the birthday celebration, I mean, obviously I'm not going to play every single thing I've ever played in my life. But in the last decade, I was focusing quite a bit on Brazilian music. So I will have my duo partner, Marcelo Gonçalves, the beautiful 7-string guitar player coming from Rio de Janeiro to play. And I will have the Quartetinho that we heard one song from this band. And I will have the complete Tentet playing music. And so the whole idea of the Tentet was to find like the most flexible, large ensemble that can take us through different journeys, that musical journeys that they can be flexible and shift gears. And that's partly why the musicians also have to wear different hats, which is a difficult thing. Not so difficult to find musicians in New York City to do it. Sometimes it's more challenging around the world. I'm also excited because with the Tentet, we're going to be meeting right before SFJAZZ, right before the shows of SFJAZZ, and we are doing a residency in New York City that is called Sound Vision, and we're meeting with the visually impaired community, and we're going to have we started already to have a workshop and conversations, and some new music is going to be coming out of it, working with the music school FMDG and with Visions, an organization that is helping the visually impaired community. So this is all going to be there's going to be some new music at the SFJAZZ show, and which is yet to be explored. So I'm very excited.
Absolutely. Is there anything else concert goers can look forward to at the SFJAZZ show?
There's going to be some very intimate moments and some wildness and party moments. So it's going to be a journey.
All right. And a reminder for our listeners, the Anat Cohen 50th birthday celebration takes place on Thursday, December 11th and Friday, December 12th. Showtimes are at 7:30 p.m. The shows will take place at SFJAZZ's Minor Auditorium in San Francisco. You can find tickets and full details at sfjazz.org or just use the direct link in our show notes. Anat, before I let you go, I understand you have another show in the area that our listeners might also be interested in.
Yes, from SFJAZZ, we're going to be going to play on December 13th in Davis, California, the Mondavi Center, with the Tentet. It's going to be a full Tentet show, and it's going to be beautiful. And we're going to expand on our repertoire, and we're going to be playing more presence of the Tentet than we will have with the Tentet at the SFJAZZ shows. And I'm excited to be spending a few days in the Bay Area.
Anat, thanks so much for your time today. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you so much, Steve. I'm really looking forward. I love the Bay Area. I love coming back to San Francisco, so I really look forward to it.
Backstage Bay Area will be right back.
Hey, musicians, would you like to be a guest on Backstage Bay Area? Just email the host and let him know when you'll be playing in the Bay Area. The address is backstage.sfbay@gmail.com. Now, let's get back to the show.
This has been Backstage Bay Area, your all-access pass to the local jazz scene. I'm Steve Roby. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the show.